Awesome. Okay.
So cool. Thanks a lot. Emilia, if you're ready, please tell the guys a little bit about yourself, and the floor is yours.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So I will introduce myself in a second. I'm Emilia from UserPilot. I've been the VP of marketing at UserPilot for the past several years. Actually, I've been with the company for almost 7 years now, and we started running ABM programs around 2.5 years ago. And in the meantime, I was looking at different solutions and I didn't find one. So we started working on a dedicated solution for LinkedIn ABM with my husband, MJ, that I will be mentioning here as well. But this presentation is mostly about LinkedIn thought leadership playbook. That, as you guys know from the title of this webinar, turned $391 into 12 qualified meetings that then turned very quickly into over 200 euros in pipeline and actually over 40,000 euros in closed won deals. And this is not my case study. This is a case study of a really good friend of mine that I've been trying to persuade to start running thought leader ads. This was Chris from Value Ships. Because he had amazing content on LinkedIn that I thought would lend itself so well for this. But they weren't really distributing it beyond the organic distribution, just posting the content on his LinkedIn profile. And I thought this was a huge missed opportunity because as a pricing consultancy, they were targeting kind of, like more, I would say, mid-market to enterprise SaaS companies. And their only way of distributing their content was being at the mercy of the organic reach, which we know is getting worse and worse. So we will discuss exactly how that happened and how they achieved these insane low costs per clicked landing page, very low CPMs for LinkedIn, unheard of. Like what I think was so successful about this particular campaign. So in ads more efficient and effective by implementing the thought leadership ad program, how to source thought leader ads, how to write good thought leader ads, etc. So about myself, I already mentioned a lot here. So at UserPilot, we've been running the ABM program for over 2 years now, and it's contributed over $8 million in influence pipeline, almost 2 million in close won so far. So it's been a very successful strategy for us, and it helped us scale through increasing our ACV rather than just brute forcing the lead volume. So it was an important step forward because, as you guys all know, SEO these days is very volatile. It's not maybe the most reliable channel to scale and not the most predictable, for sure, channel to scale, especially if you're going up market. You never know who's searching for the keywords that you're ranking for, or like searching for them in LLMs. So it's very hard to control which companies you're able to target with just inbound organic traffic. Okay, the agenda for today, we'll cover the Value Ship story, which is kind of the biggest success story of TLAs that I've seen in my career. Why TLAs are a particularly good ad format to run ABM programs with, and why they can be like very, very cost efficient as well. The creative playbook, so the do's and don'ts for writing good TLAs. How can you source the content? Because you don't actually need to write it all yourself. This is the fun part, that you can literally find ready-made TLAs out there for you or outsource that completely and get even better results without having to lift a finger. And so I'll mention that. How to translate these engagements into actual meetings. So how to capture the intent signals from your TLAs and then actually follow up on them. This is often the missing part in a lot of ABM programs that I see. And does it scale, right? Our results from TLAs as well, and which kinds of TLAs as well have been yielding the best results for us. And of course, if you have any questions, I see them coming in the comments here. I don't know, Stefan, are you planning to moderate this and ask them at the end, or?
Yeah, so we'll have a Q&A at the end, but since there is a question already,
Okay.
let's go to part number 2, why TLAs win, and then let's address the question, okay? But let's start.
Sure.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay, so the ValueShips case study. So ValueShips is the pricing consultancy for SaaS, as I mentioned, that has been targeting CFOs, CEOs, so pretty senior executives in SaaS in Western Europe, US, UK, and the DACH region, so quite expensive demographics. And the setup of the pilot ABM campaign was launching mostly TLAs, and then an image ad campaign and a carousel ad set actually in the same campaign. The authors were mostly the internal stakeholders, so the partners within the consultancy, Chris and Maciej, who were posting in their own voice. They had a pretty distinct voice with a lot of funny memes, case studies, thought-provoking, contrarian views and examples. And these are the results here on the bottom left that they have achieved. So actually, from the total spend that went into this campaign, a tiny minority, 6% of the total spend only went to thought leader ads. But as you can see, thought leader ads actually produced the vast majority of the impressions at the cheapest cost per landing page click and the highest CTR, so effective CTR to landing page. This is super interesting because this is like the classic case of 80-20 or 20-80 here, where 20% of the effort and investment produced 80% of the results. So after this pilot, they have turned off the other ad formats and just doubled down on TLAs. So this is another, if you want to screenshot this and save it for your executives to convince them that they should maybe invest, give you budget for running thought leader ads. I know some executives are a little bit anxious about them, or maybe even opposed to them, because they don't look like traditional ads. Like thought leader ads, as you can see here, they literally look like organic posts. So for instance, my CEO has been pushing back against them because he says, but this is promoting you, not the company, right? The thing is, this is exactly what makes it effective, because LinkedIn is a social network. So people come there to follow specific other people, influencers, authorities, experts in certain domains, not to follow companies. That's why organic posts from personal profiles perform so much better than posts from company pages. And TLAs allow you to tap into the organic engagement rate of personal posts and combine it with the effectiveness of targeting specific accounts and being able to bid for impressions rather to have to win the algorithms. So this is kind of, these are the examples of thought leader ads that have been the most effective in their case. And these are the CTRs of their thought leader ads and the ECTR, so effective click-through rate to landing pages. Because for thought leader ads, the CTR is actually a measure of all clicks divided by all impressions. This metric is misleading. Almost 21% or over 21% here doesn't mean that 21% of the people that saw the ad went to the landing page. It just means that they engaged with it. So they may have liked it, they may have clicked see more. And the effective CTR is not available as a metric on LinkedIn. You have to calculate it yourself by dividing the clicks to landing page from the engagement report with the total impressions in a given time frame. So this is a calculated metric here, but as you can see, the clicks to landing page rate was insane for these ads. And also, when you think about it, these clicks are not only, there are not only more clicks from TLAs, but the clicks are also higher intent. Why? When someone sees an image ad that is funny, like a meme or whatever, they may just click on it because it was funny, right? They didn't really have any intention to buy your product or service or even explore it further. or they may have just completely accidentally clicked while scrolling, LinkedIn on their mobile. With TLAs, this person has to engage with the whole post. So they're reading the post, and the link to your landing page is embedded somewhere in the post, usually quite low in the post itself. So if someone, reads about the problem and the solution, and the author of the TLA recommends your product as the solution to the problem, and they decide to click on that link, it is usually a lot more intentional. By the way, if you want to read the full case study of value ships, you can scan the QR code here, and guys, you can share the presentation with your audience afterwards. So what made the most effective TLAs from this campaign effective, and what do I see in general? Using analogies and humor as the hook, right? So never actually writing the TLAs as product pitches. These are not supposed to be company posts. These are supposed to be your personal thoughts on a particular matter or a particular problem that your product just happens to solve. You may want to use very specific numbers, results, real case studies, real company outcomes. This always resonates because it shows credibility, and it shows some level of benchmarks for your audience that they will probably be interested in achieving as well. You always need to write in the first person, right? Just keep it human, keep it very casual, authentic, imperfect, right? Be upfront about your mistakes. You can even make typos in the post. It doesn't have to be super polished. In fact, the less polished it sounds, the more effective it is. If you read any post from Jason Lemkin or I don't know, Alina van der Berge from Chili Piper, you will see that they make typos, they don't care about the proper spelling, capitalization, etc. And this is exactly what makes them so authentic and relatable. CTAs, I like putting them in the post scriptum or just at the bottom of the post somewhere. They can be embedded in the post content, but definitely you shouldn't lead with a link or put it right at the beginning. You need to build the story first and make the link placement really, really relevant and authentic. So use your common sense. There are no rules of thumb here, but it has to something like you're just, by the way, mentioning the solution, not that you're writing the post for the sake of inserting the link in it. In terms of hooks, keep it short, ideally, but always include the links, right? So TLAs without the link don't perform as well in terms of influencing pipeline as the ones with link, because the ultimate goal is to keep to get the audience to your landing page, inform them a bit more about your product or service, and then ideally capture that click and retarget them with the next layer of ads. What is the compounding impacts of TLAs that most companies never tap into? Because again, they focus on their company pages instead of focusing on promoting their employees. In fact, a lot of more old-fashioned companies are still a little bit behind on employee advocacy, or may even think that why should they invest in promoting someone's personal profile? But this is, as I mentioned earlier, the real gold. So if you have genuinely good content that performs well on organic, right, you're getting more followers and you're getting more organic exposure. And there is a very strong correlation between organic engagement and the performance of the TLA, because the TLAs are so subtle that a lot of people don't even realize that they're reading sponsored content. And typically you should be aiming for 10% plus engagement rate. So this is the CTR in the performance column. LinkedIn reads the CTR as a quality signal for the ads as well. So for the ad rank, it actually helps you achieve cheaper CPMs if you have a very, very high engagement rate. And this is exactly what happened in the case of this value ships campaign, that they basically went viral. And that resulted in very, very low CPMs and them outperforming other bidders during this time frame. And the more data you have, the better your ads become. So you can start optimizing when you see what is resonating with your audience. Typically, I would start from launching 5 to 6 ads at a time, not to spread your budget too thinly, and keep only around 5 ads with the CTR above 10%, ideally, if you manage to reach that level of engagement, and keep replacing the ones that aren't resonating, that aren't performing, with ones that are maybe more similar, either in the style or in the content, to the ones that are performing. Okay, so a quick cheat sheet, you can screenshot that as well.
I mean, sorry, I have a question. So
Sure.
I think it's not now the time for the questions from Saurabh. Thank you for asking us. Question is, your thoughts on combining thought leadership ads with outbound? I know you have SDRs, you know, like you do BDM. So using ads to specifically warm up the lead list a week or so before reaching out. Have you guys done that at User Pilots and ABM? Maybe Chris has done that. Is it working? To what extent? Thanks.
Yeah, I know. Like it, yeah, it's definitely something that we've all done. For Chris, it's been a while before they saw results from the outreach as well, and that has been my experience, that it's not like directly correlated, and I still see most conversions coming directly from inbound. Someone reads the post, they're immediately, you know, convinced, and they typically book the demos themselves. But what I would recommend doing is basically using the engagements from TLAs for account scoring. So say if you have 5+ engagements on the campaigns in a specific time frame, mark this company as interested and send that label to your sales engagement tool or your CRM through a webhook. So, you know, like Zen ABM basically allows you to do exactly that. And then layer the intent on top. So ideally, if you're running different campaigns on different topics, label them with intent tags, and look at not only which companies have been engaging, but what have they been engaging with. So with these intent tags, you can customize your pitch to maybe the content of the TLAs they have engaged with. And that is a lot more effective than just like reaching out to companies a week after you have started running the ads, because you can't do it blindly. You need to know which companies have already seen the ads and engaged with them, because LinkedIn does not distribute the ads to your whole audience within the first week. So your audience penetration after the first week will be typically quite low, maybe 5, maybe 10% of your audience will be penetrated. So first you need to see which ones have been reached, which ones have actively engaged, and ideally what have they engaged with for the signal to be meaningful. That was a long answer. I hope it made sense.
Okay, yeah, let's continue with the presentation. We have more questions, but we will address them later on. Okay.
I will skip forward so we can address more questions, since we dwelt so long on the slide. How can you source winning TLAs? Like, a lot of people don't know where to start and how to write good TLAs, even with the best practices. So there are some ways to go around it. One way is to interview your internal stakeholders. This is a very popular way. And then you can use, like, there are plenty of free TLA generators that already have like the winning TLAs fed into them as basically examples and context. Even on Zen ABM's resources page, there is one. You can build one on your own with Claude, probably in a couple of hours. And you dump the interview transcripts into, say, the Claude project or skill. And then you basically use the skill to generate these TLAs based on your conversations with your internal experts. This is kind of like a medium level of difficulty, I would say, because you still need to do all this work to obtain the TLA. But another way to do it is to sponsor influencers' posts. This, of course, is easier, but also a lot more expensive. At a user pilot, I've been using Passion Fruit. So it is literally a marketplace for influencers where you can look for influencers from a specific like niche and hire them to like sponsor their newsletter, to write a post on LinkedIn for you. And it's a very, very transactional relationship. So you write what you want the post to be about. They post it, you pay them through the platform, and it's a done deal. And they usually know how to do it because they have a large following. And these posts typically perform the best because people buy from the people they know, like, and trust. So say if you're following Elena Verna or Kyle Poyer, right? And you respect them and you trust their opinions and you see them talking about a specific problem and a solution to this problem and mentioning a particular product that can provide the solution, you're more likely to A, read their post in the first place, and B, to trust them that this is the right choice. So we've seen that these TLAs from influencers, they are more expensive, but then they have better eCTRs and they have lower CPMs because they tend to attract more organic engagements in the first place as well. Then another thing you can do to sort your TLAs is to boost the mentions of your brand that already exists out there. So just go on LinkedIn, put your company name in the search and look for all the people that are already posting about it and see if there are any good posts with good organic engagement there. If so, reach out to the author, offer them whatever, $50 Uber Eats voucher or an Amazon voucher or something like that, and ask them if you can sponsor their post as a thought leader ad. So this is the beautiful part about LinkedIn. You can sponsor anyone's post as long as they agree to it. It doesn't have to be your company employee. So this is a very, very easy tactic, I would say. And another tactic to source credible TLAs that also require some work, and there is a certain caveat that they may not always perform very well because basically your customers are not professional writers, so they sometimes really don't know how to write in a good way. And you can give people all the instructions in the world, but they won't read them. So this is my challenge with customer advocacy program. I've built one at a user pilot as well. So we built the landing page, the rules, and the reward system, so customers could redeem certain rewards for posting about user pilot and their positive experience with it on LinkedIn. Some of the posts were really good and worked. Some of the posts were really, really bad, and some of the posts we had to reject because they just didn't follow the rules at all. So it's a bit hit and miss. And also the customer post has the lowest eCTR from all our posts. Another shortcut that more and more people are opting for is just hiring a ghostwriter. So a professional writer that's gonna do all the heavy lifting, talk to your internal SMEs, build the skills and whatnot, and just write the post for you. So these are the 5 ways that I have used personally to source TLAs for my programs. And yeah, this is something that we already touched upon. Like just running the ads is leaving a lot of money on the table. So you also want to make sure that you retarget the accounts that are engaging and that you ideally capture the intent from the specific ads they're engaging with, right? This essentially means grouping your ads and tagging them by topic, and then basically tagging the companies whose members engaged with the specific TLAs with this intent, pushing that data. So this is something we've been doing and Value Ships has been doing as well, pushing the data from an ABM to Clay through a webhook, and then using that data to personalize the outreach. When it comes to user pilots ABM, I think I should have mentioned the slide a bit earlier. These are our results, but I wanted to show you the breakdown of the results by ad format. So for instance, in May, like our thought leader ads have...
Sorry. Do you mind if we close it?
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. well, here, sorry, I've been too loud. I'm in a co-working space. So yeah, it's been like definitely the most engaging ad format in terms of the eCTR, so clicks to landing pages. From all the ad formats, we had a bit of like a budget change as an experiment. So we allocated less budget to TLAs in May than we typically do, but typically it's around 40 to 50%. And these are the top performing TLAs in terms of the format, so, and the source. So CAP stands for Customer Advocacy Program. And the CTRs from Customer Advocacy Program ads are the lowest, actually. So we tend to focus mostly on internal stakeholders and influencers. So these have the highest CTR to landing page, not necessarily the highest CTR here. So it's always good to calculate this metric if you're optimizing for clicks to landing pages, not just general brand awareness. Some examples of our top performing TLAs and what kind of metrics we're seeing. So CTRs along the lines of 10% and clicks to landing page of around 1% here. I actually think there's my ABM manager made a mistake because these are the same metrics for different ads, but these are our 4 top performing ads in May as examples. And again, we won't be psychoanalyzing the content in them, but I'm happy to share them with you so you can guys see basically how they align with the best practices I have mentioned earlier. How do you measure the effectiveness of your TLA? Like the CTR and the eCTR, so clicks to landing page, are a leading metric, right? But you also want to cross-reference that with the engagements from the companies that you have opened deals with in any specific time frame. So, for instance, if you opened a deal with a company in May, then look at the engagements 30 to 90 days before the deal was opened, and look which ad formats the companies you opened deals with have been engaging with most. If you see TLAs a lot there, then it means they definitely have a significant impact. Of course, we're not talking about last touch attribution here. We're talking about view through attribution or influence. So you will never be able to pinpoint that, yes, this specific TLA basically caused this deal to happen, right? It's more about basically seeing which touch points consistently happen before you open deals, so you can allocate more budget to these ad formats. And based on what I've been seeing in our data, like TLAs have a very, very strong impact. So key takeaways here, so we can leave some time for the questions. TLAs are in their own category in terms of efficiency from all the LinkedIn ad formats. You should also look at different metrics, so eCTR rather than just CTR for them, and calculate that yourself. LinkedIn really, really promotes real organic engagement, so that is helpful. You know, what wins is basically top performing content, and that sounds authentic, that sounds organic and personal, not curated company content. So definitely writing in first person and pushing TLAs from individual profiles. You can source the TLAs in many different ways. So from influencers, internal stakeholders, your customers, other people mentioning your brand, or even through hiring ghostwriters. And yeah, like the bottom line is that you may also want to use the intent that TLAs generate on company level to customize your further campaigns and your outreach. Okay, so
Okay, there is a ton of
question time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first question, Paul Jones. He was thank you, Paul, for using both Zen ABM and Go Extrovert. So he's saying we launched it TLAs recently. It performed well engagement-wise. However, we put links in the comments per some guidance that LinkedIn demotes anything with links in it. Curious if that's true or not.
It is true, but with TLAs, you don't optimize for organic engagement, so you don't care about that. If you put the link in the comments, you can't track the effective CTR of the TLA at all. So I wouldn't do that. If you want to optimize for both organic engagement and paid engagement, then post your post as usual, put the link in the comment, wait, I don't know, 5 days, then edit the post, put the link in the post body, and only then promote it as a TLA.
Awesome. Okay. Carl, 2 questions. Number 1, what's your take on using TLAs to target a specific audience rather than the existing network?
A specific audience rather than the existing network?
I think we're talking about cold audiences. So he's thinking about how can we, what's your experience with targeting cold audiences, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, they can be a very effective way to target cold audiences. So we need to distinguish between organic posting and thought leader ads. Thought leader ads are designed for you to target the audience you want to target, not just random people who happen to have been in your network. This is the whole point, right? This is the whole point of account-based marketing. You can choose the accounts you're going to target. So TLAs provide a unique opportunity to use something that looks like organic post and game the algorithm. So you don't need to have these people in your network. You don't need to worry about organic engagement. Like, I mean, you need to partially worry for the ad rank, but not as much as, you know, having the budget and having a good list. You can basically game the algorithm.
All right, cool. Another question from Carl. Do you have any recommendation to show the effect of the attribution problem? All right. Do you have any recommendation to show the effect of thought leadership sales on the actual revenue coming in? Okay, I mean,
yeah,
your take.
I do, and I do regularly. So, you know, in Zen ABM, we have this chatbot that basically analyzes the data with Anthropic's API. And I ask it for all the deals that I have opened in the last, for instance, 30 days, which ad formats had the most engagements before the deal was opened. And like, you know, the 30, as I said, 30 to 90 days before the deal was opened. And based on that, I evaluate what could have had the highest impact, right? So if I see that in the companies, like roughly 60% of the engagements were accumulated in TLAs, it's a very fair assumption that TLAs had the most impact.
Comment from Carl. So many times marketers hear so much money spent, and then we got all these deals from direct traffic, not from marketing spend. That's usually sales. Yeah, all right. Very common.
I heard a great analogy on LinkedIn recently. I don't remember the author's name, but I'm saying that last touch attribution is like saying that the reason I came home today was the door, right? Like, what does it mean? Direct traffic means someone knew about your brand and they typed it into the browser and, you know, like went directly to your website. They must have gotten you know, acquainted with your brand somewhere. How do you build that brand awareness intentionally in the specific account list, right?
Yeah. Okay. So we got another question from Christian Sanko. By the way, he did an awesome episode on virality, and he has a system about how to become viral on LinkedIn.
Cool.
Question 1. It's I'll connect with Christian after. Do you think it's a good strategy to test ad ideas as organic content? So let's say 1A is which one performs best. 1B would be repost these as ads. Do you think
so
it's a good
again,
strategy to test ad ideas as organic content, see which one perform best, repost those as ads?
are we still talking about thought leader ads or ads
Yeah.
in
Well,
general?
yeah,
Okay.
you can share what your experience, doesn't have to be
Yeah,
TLA.
100%. I mean, like TLA start as organic posts, so I would definitely recommend waiting, as I said, a few days and not putting that link in the post body from the get-go, but then editing the post before promoting it. So you see which of your posts took off organically, and these are the ones that are also going to perform best as TLAs, because people really don't distinguish between an organic post that hasn't been sponsored and that has been sponsored. When it comes to testing, for instance, image ads as organic content, well, if your image ads are really like unorthodox, they don't talk about your product or your brand, and they're funny, then you may test them as organic. If you suddenly start posting image ads with your organic posts on LinkedIn, people will just think you're being very weird. Yeah, because it's these are ads, right? So if your ads are like typical adsy ads with a lot on your product, your company, book a demo CTA, like it's not going to land through organic. So there's no point in testing it per se.
Okay, one more question, promise, and then we get to Oleg. That's from Christian. When a thought leadership post is doing well, would you add promotion to that already posted content? I think yes. B, post it again as promoted content for first minute it's posted. Okay, so when a thought leadership post is doing well, would you add promotion to that already posted content? B, post it again as a promoted content from the first minute it's posted.
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Okay, so when you have a thought leadership post that's doing well organically, okay?
Organically, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Would you boost it? Since you already posted, would you boost it? And then
you
after
don't
that,
boost it.
sorry?
You don't use the boost option. This is like a shortcut for, folks that may not be that advanced with LinkedIn ads. And it doesn't give you the same targeting options as adding the posts as thought leader ads into an image ad campaign through Campaign Manager. So kind of the first rule of Fight Club, don't boost your posts. Go to the Campaign Manager. It's a bit tricky there because LinkedIn is like so horrible at product marketing. They don't really guide the users through how to create thought leader campaigns. And it's a real pain. Yeah, I can see Stefan's face, and we all have the same experience how bad Campaign Manager is. You don't boost the post, you go to Campaign Manager, you create a new campaign with a single image ad as the ad format, and the objective has to be engagement or brand awareness, but you should choose engagement. You can't choose website visits because LinkedIn will not allow you to promote personal posts there. And then when you go to creating ads in this campaign, instead of selecting create new, you click on the tab browse existing content, and then it opens another set of tabs where you can browse company content and LinkedIn members content. And then when you click on LinkedIn members, it opens a search bar where you can search for a specific person. Like I could search for Stefan and find Stefan post. And then it would allow me to add the Stefan post to the campaign. But then I need to send Stefan a permission request. So Stefan can approve me adding this post to my campaign and sponsor it. And then I still need to, after the post has been approved, only then can I actually add it to the campaign. Just approving this post does not automatically add it to the campaign. So the process is a bit painstaking. It's not that bad when you've learned it for the first time, but it is a bit of a pain to actually launch thought leader ads.
Yeah, I think I have more clarity into what Christian actually asked. He's like,
okay,
do you have a thought leadership ad, would you promote it right away, or you would wait for a little bit to get organic traction?
And I would wait a little bit to see if it's biting, right? Because then I don't need to, if it tanks, then I don't need to waste my budget on distributing it.
Okay, makes sense. All right, cool. Guys, sign up for Zen ABM. It's a fantastic tool. Now I'm going to make the bridge between what Emilia said and Oleg. So Emilia, with the thought leadership ads using Zen ABM, you can actually see the companies and the engagement you get from companies. I'm not sure if you can do personal level like engagement. Can you see personally who engaged with your post, Emi, through Zen ABM or no?
No.
No, not yet. Okay, so you can see a company level positions. You can, correct?
Positions, sorry.
Like job position, like like
Job titles, yes.
yeah, you can see job titles in Zen ABM, which is great, which gives you an understanding of, okay, these are the people who are engaging with my content. It means they have some awareness about me. But very contrary to what people usually do, they see ads, they see that certain companies, follow them, follow their content, and they will send that list to SDR, which is wrong. Do not do that, these kids, in public. And the next step would be, logical step would be to try to build a relationship with them, and especially in long sales cycles. And in order to do that, there is a system which I strongly like, which is a system based on a tool. It's called Go Extrovert. And in short, Oleg is going to explain how you can organically nurture all those leads, so you don't send those leads to SDR, and then your SDRs are going to be like, oh, I couldn't get a meeting with them. They're cold. Marketing didn't give us the awareness, and so on and so forth. Oleg, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Stefan. Thanks a lot, Emilia. It was super cool to hear the presentation. And I want to say that I am totally with you about making it personal and staying away from the corporate, pages, and actually building the employee advocacy, and actually sounding like our outreach, our content is coming from real people, because people do buy from people, and people do, trust people as well. And I just want to briefly talk about what happens afterwards. What happens after you already have people who engage with your content, who engage with your ads, or who you captured from website visitors as a return channel, and how do you actually convert them into a pipeline? And let me quickly share my screen. I have a very quick presentation about it. And I will also show you some live demo on how you can do that. Please do share your questions as well. So the goal is super simple. You reach out to people who engaged with your content, or you enriched from Clay, like Emilia told you. You can get profile visitors, inbound connections, company page followers, your website visitors as well, because obviously thought leader ads will produce this traffic that seems organic, but it's coming from a thought leader ads, and you need to build a return channel. You need to reach out to those people. So you collect them, you qualify them, and you reach out to them. I will not talk about qualification part today, because it's the point of the whole different, webinar. But maybe the basic idea that I would like you to keep from today's session is that you can actually build a long-term relationship. You can actually nurture your prospects for a very long period of time, but you keep your effort per lead very low. Because when I speak to sales teams, and when I ask them, like, how long is your sequence? Like, do you run any cold outbound sequence, whether it's cold email or cold LinkedIn or like warm LinkedIn after they engage with your content? Usually what I get is that like my sequence is 2 weeks long or 3 weeks long. And my next question is, how long is your usual sales cycle? Like, how long does it usually take for your buyer to make a buying decision? And usually the answer is like several months, right? And so you're betting on this window. Even if they express some amount of intent engaging with your ad, it doesn't mean they have the need right now. It doesn't mean they have, resources now to think about the problem. So they might need a little bit more time. And usually when people say that they have a short sequence, the rationale for this is we need to keep the effort per prospect low, and that's why the sequence is short. But it's not the same thing. If you have a system, if you have a proper system, you actually can nurture your prospects for a very long time and stay connected to them. And when they're ready, they will react. So this is the data from our platform. One of the big things that Extrovert allows you to do is comment on your prospects' posts. And we have analyzed more than 30,000 connection requests sent through the platform, and we clearly see that it doubles the acceptance rates, and it also doubles the reply rates as well. So the playbook here is super simple. You comment for a while, you DM them for a while, and your reply rates and your connection acceptance rates are almost double. This is average, so 41% is average. We have outliers like 70%. We have low performance for 20, but the average is 40. And why this works, it's not rocket science. The goal here is to not look like a sequence, because everyone here is probably know this feeling when you receive a connect request or you receive the new connection, and then you don't see a person behind this. You see yourself in this automated flow, which will go like message today, the message the next week, if you don't reply, the message like the week after that. And the goal here is to be the less transactional as possible, more personal as possible. And that's why this approach works. And also there is an algorithmic trick or algorithmic thing that you can that you can actually put to your advantage, is that comments plus posts plus DMs work together really nicely. So for example, if you get a reply to your DM, it is the strongest signal for the algorithm to show your posts to your prospect. Probably you have noticed that if you DM someone, you will see their posts in your feed like all the time, because this is the strongest signal to the algo that you are connected to this person or interested in them. And that's why when reaching out, you sometimes don't need to pitch, and you sometimes don't even need to mention anything about your offer or about anything about yourself. You just can react to what happened in their world and aim for the reply, because if they reply, they will see your organic content, they will see your comments in their feed, and they eventually will find out about your offer from your profile and from your content as well. So the execution is super simple. You comment for a while, you DM about what happened in their world several times per month. You aim for the long game. And sometimes people ask, like, what do I do if my prospects don't post? A lot of, especially in some industries like hospitality or healthcare, people are not very frequent posters. They are lurkers. But there is actually a trick how to reach them, how to surround them with your presence. You actually can track what content they follow, what influencers they follow, what posts they read, maybe from their coworkers, and you can react to those posts, and you can see you can be basically in the conversations where they are already where they are engaging in. And when you show up there they know you, they see your face, and when you reach out to them, they already kind of know you as a known person. So this approach, you can use it on different parts of the funnel. So you can use it on top of funnel. So basically, you can reach out like semi-manually, like I described, on top of funnel. And this works really well for high-ticket offers with a long sales cycle where you actually, this manual quality is worth the effort that you can spend, this effort for your prospects. The other thing, what we see is working pretty well for bigger TAMs, for maybe more transactional offers, is middle of funnel, where you do automated sequence on top of funnel. Like say you reach out to everyone who interacted with your TLAs, and then you get the replies, and then you nurture the replies. So you keep the top of funnel automated, and you do like this nurturing, very human involved approach in the middle of funnel. So you choose for yourself. It does depend on your budget. It does depend on the amount of leads on top of funnel. It does depend on your offer and on your TAM, on your total addressable market. And the question, the final question that I want to address, like why, if it like sounds really well, why not everyone is doing this? And the reason is that if you do it manually, if it's just if you just say to your reps, use social selling and be like nurture your prospects on LinkedIn, it doesn't work because it requires a lot of discipline. It requires a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of decisions, day-to-day decisions that are very long-term, and usually revenue generating activities, as they call it, win because they have the deal that they can close now. They have the the meeting that an SDR or account exec can win today, and nurturing will always lose to these short-term priorities, and that's why you need a system. So we are trying to build a solution for this. We are building the platform that can help you with this. And basically what it does, it builds you the custom feed for your audience. So you can put your audience in groups, you can put them in campaigns, and nothing is automated. It's not a sequencer. You just have your feed, custom feed on LinkedIn. You have the summaries of the posts that they post. You have some metrics from them, like how often you engage with them, what do they post about, those kind of things. You have summaries, and you have drafts that are drafted in your voice and in your using your playbook. So you can be active in the comments, and you can actually also be active in DMs. And what is the most my most favorite part is that you can send DMs that are not about you, that are about themselves. And the best way to send those DMs is to actually social listen to what they post about. So this is my live account that I'm showing, and this is a prospect of mine. So and this is the draft of the DM that Extrovert suggests me, and this is based on the post from this prospect that I would never seen if I wouldn't use the app, because there are hundreds of posts. I don't scroll the feed all day. And this post is actually about what I'm selling. So he's sharing, he shared relevant post 2 days ago. He shared practical steps to fix slow pipeline, optimize profile, show client results. But he's talking about engaging with clients in comments. And this is a hook that I can use in my DM. And I can say, oh, what is the draft about? oh, been a while. Your post about your recent post is actually what we are building for. And since we last spoke, we shipped the whole bunch of things. So this is taken from my playbook. It actually knows what's happening behind the scenes. And I wouldn't use it as it is. I would probably like correct the CTA. I don't like this CTA too much, but it takes me like 20 seconds to actually send the really good personalized DM and to be active, be in touch with the prospect for very long time. And this is the approach that we advocate for. So just one thing that I would like to maybe repeat is keeping your effort per prospect very low, but keeping the time frames as long as possible to give them time to actually be ready for your offer. So if you haven't checked it out, we do have the offer for people who join today's webinar. It's 50% off the first month. Use promo code AdsMagic to get it. I will share the code as well in the chat and after the presentation by email. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening. Thanks a lot for joining. Maybe anyone has any questions about this?
I don't think I see any questions here. But yeah, I think we're a bit over time. It's because we had a lot of interest actually for Emilia and then your presentation, Oleg. If nobody has any questions, I think we'll end this. I think it was very informative around how to actually use thought leadership ads, how to sort of like use those people or at least those job positions. Later on, you can nurture them through Go Extrovert and Oleg's through Go Extrovert, because I think personally for me it makes a lot of sense. If you have a long sales cycle, you continue nurturing these people without being too salesy, because nobody's gonna jump with you on a demo if their sales cycle is 2 years.
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
maybe ask a quick question. Maybe I missed it in the presentation. Can you have an approval mode for the comments?
It is only approval mode. So
only approval
we don't
mode,
have
okay.
the autopilot mode. We have experimented with this. And like my honest opinion, working with LLMs daily is that it doesn't work. So basically AI SDRs that are fully autopilot, my opinion that this approach doesn't work. So everything is suggestion first. So you have a suggestion, but there is always human in the loop that you should approve. Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. Because I think like the common objection, I would love to test the tool, but I know that some people on my team would be like, oh, we're afraid, right, that it's gonna start posting some AI comments that look like AI comments, right? So yeah, if it's all kind of approval mode, then it's great. I think as you said, it really complements the thought leadership program to have like the same people that are posting on behalf of the company actually engage under the prospects posts themselves. So.
Yeah. And it's very important to we do use a lot of tricks under the hood to make the copy human-like. And we experiment with models a lot. We don't use off-the-shelf models. We actually fine-tune the models that we use because the commenting is quite, specific copy to write. It's not just the long-form copy. It's very different. And but still, you need this human approval step because personally, I'm using this on my account as well, and I correct like more than half of my comments, maybe 70%. But it is much easier because you can do it with your voice, you can do like small corrections, and you also fight the blank page syndrome because you have the suggestion and it just makes it easier. It keeps the effort lower, but yeah, 100% that it should be pre-approved.
Totally. Awesome.
Cool, guys. Thanks for the session. You're my favorite. Much love. See you guys next week with Oleg. Amy, much love to you.
See you. Thank you for having me. Cheers.
Thanks a lot,
Bye.
Stay safe
Emilia.
in London,
It was a
right?
pleasure. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll share the recording and we'll share the presentation with the audience. And hopefully we can do it one more time sometimes. Thanks a
Awesome.
lot. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.